after the trial, I hadn't chosen an attorney yet. I'll do some more videos about this, but on December 6th, the trial was like November 28th, so December 6th, Eugene Volokh had emailed me. And he emailed me first, or he emailed and called me. We ended up talking and asked me if I would let him represent me for free. I said yeah, but he said he wasn't sure if he could, so to keep looking for attorneys. So I wasn't really looking, I was studying for going pro se. So then one of my bloggers on one of my blogs, had lots of investigative bloggers blogging on my sites, they had heard of this Mark Randazza guy. So they asked me if I would have a meeting with him on the phone with Mark Randazza, and out of respect for my blogger, I said, okay, well, I'll do that. So we had a three-way conversation and visited with Mark, and Mark and I talked about, and this guy talked about monopoly that big media has on free speech, talked about what I do, talked about them accusing me of extortion, what relates to settlement agreement, and a whole bunch of stuff. And when we got off the phone, he had me send him all the documentation for the case, all my motions, and we talked about my strategy. I said I wanted to appeal, but I didn't want to appeal if that hurt, you know, other bloggers like me or whatever. I was still trying to examine it and check with people at the First Amendment bar and study it. And he said, well, send me all your information. He had my case strategy. He said he had to check with the Media Bloggers Association because he represented them. He wanted to make sure he had no conflicts of interest. Then he would get back to me. All right, time passes. I've only got 30 days to file for my appeal, right? And then he doesn't get a hold of me. Nothing. Meanwhile, you know, Eugene's still checking in with me. I'd rather have Eugene because Mark Randazza is a porn industry attorney, and I thought he'd be pretty cool, First Amendment attorney, whatever. But I also thought, you know, he's a porn attorney. And I would much rather have a white knight. You know, Eugene Volokh, a law professor, you know, squeaky clean and knows the law and is a constitutional rights lawyer and a UCLA law professor. And, you know, I would rather have him represent this amazing thing for society as a whole, which to me is a massive human rights and civil rights issue that the big media does not have a monopoly on free speech, that you can expose corruption and have equal rights in the courts. Okay, it's a big deal, and I wanted Eugene to represent that. I didn't want Mark to represent that. But I was still weighing the options of who I wanted. Okay, so then Eugene Volokh contacts me. You can see my blogs for the exact dates of all this. And he says, oh, well, I see that you picked Mark Randazza to be your attorney. And he said, that's fine. He said, Mark's a good guy, and let me know how I can help Mark. Anything I can do. Because Eugene really wanted to be a part of this important issue. It's massive. And I was one of the only ones that went that far because I refused settlements, and I stood up against these thugs and everything they come at me. I stood up to them. So I was one of the few who'd made it that far. He wanted to be part of it. So he said, let me know. Mark's a good guy. You picked Mark. That's fine. But let me know if I can help him. And I said, what? I didn't pick Mark. He said, well, Mark told people at the First Amendment bar that he represented me. I said, Mark does not represent me. He said, well, Mark's been negotiating with David Amon and Kevin Patrick and negotiating a deal, and he's put in time and effort. You know, so Eugene's trying to be honorable because he's thinking Mark's put in this time and I should be honorable to Mark. What? Mark never told me. He never ever got back to me. The time's ticking away. He's negotiating a deal. He hasn't told me anything about the deal. Turns out he's trying to sabotage my Ninth Circuit appeal so that it goes away. Why? Well, because we need Crystal Cox case to go away quietly. Shh. Because the porn industry, oh my goodness, we can't have her precedents out there. You know, it's a free speech mess. So we'll just make her the collateral damage. She's just an idiot. We'll throw her in the back seat. We'll get her out of the judgment. She'll be fine, whatever. She's just some dumb woman. Threw me in the back seat. He goes and he does a deal that I don't know nothing about. After I've been representing myself for a year, and I'm completely involved, and this is a spiritual mission for me, and I'm very righteous about getting equal rights for anti-corruption bloggers and whistleblowers because this is very passionate. I gave my life for it. And he throws me in the back seat and shuts me up. So I told Eugene, he does not represent me. I don't know what he's doing. And so, meanwhile, actually this all happened, it seemed in minutes. Mark Randazza emails me and says, oh, I've researched your case and I've decided that I will take your case and represent you. What? You've already been representing me. If I hadn't have spoke to Eugene, all these lawyers would stay away. This important case that everybody wants to be a part of, and these lawyers that want to represent me for free, which, by the way, Eugene did, and Mark wanted $5,000 for his free, you know, thing. Eugene never disrespected me. When he disagreed with me on something, he treated me like I had a brain. He respected me as a woman and as a person. Did he agree with me? No, not all the time. Of course not. But he approached me like I was a human being and with dignity. And we discussed things. And he approached me knowing that I had been representing myself this whole time and that he gave me respect and equality. Mark Rondazzi just put a gag on me and threw me in the back of the truck and did what he wanted.